activist, and entertainer. The many obstacles in her life allowed her to become a voice for African American women and have personal motivations to advocate for civil rights.
On April 4, 1928, Maya was born as Margaret Ann Johnson in St. Louis, Missouri. Her parents were Bailey and Vivian Baxter Johnson. Her parents divorced when she was only 3, and she went to live with her brother Bailey and their grandmother in the small town of Stance, Arkansas. Unable to pronounce her name because of a stutter, Bailey called her Mai, for my sister. A few years later, when he read a book about the Maya Indians, he began to call her Maya, and the name stuck. At age 7, while visiting her mother in Chicago, she was sexually molested by her mother's boyfriend, and she confided in her brother. When she later heard the news that an uncle had killed her attacker, she felt that her words had killed the man, and she fell silent and did not speak for 5 years. Maya began to speak again at age 13, when she and her brother rejoined their mother in San Francisco. She dropped out of school in her teens to become San Francisco's first African-American female cable car conductor. Maya returned to high school, but became pregnant and graduated a few weeks before giving birth to her son, Guy. She left home to bring up her son as a single mother, working as a waitress and a cook. After composing song lyrics and poems for many years, by the end of the 1950s, Maya was increasingly interested in developing her skills as a writer. In 1952, she married a Greek sailor named Anastasios Angelopoulos. When she began her career as a nightclub singer, she took the professional name Maya Angelou, combining her childhood nickname with the form of her husband's name.
At age 16, Maya Angelou left her home and took on the life of a single mother and started working odd jobs like being a waitress and a cook to support her and her son, Guy. In 1973, she married her second husband, Paul Dufour, but not 7 years later, in 1980, their marriage was dissolved.
Maya Angelou began coming to fame because of her amazing hallmarks throughout African American history as a female pioneer. As we mentioned earlier, Ms. Angelou began climbing the ladder to fame as the first female African American cable car conductor. As her career took off in 1947, she recorded her first album, Calypso Lady. In 1954 through 1955, she toured a production of Porgy and Bess. Over the next few years, she and her son moved to New York so she could join the Harlem Writers Guild and develop her writing skills as a poet.
It was not until 1968 that she began working on her autobiographical book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. It was published 2 years later. This was the big break for Maya Angelou. With this autobiography, she became the first black woman to be on the bestsellers list.
In 1983, she was honored with the Matrix Award given by Women in Communication Incorporated.
Growing up as an African American girl in the South, Maya Angelou quickly became aware of her displacement in American society. This awareness would prompt her to join the civil rights movement. She would also join Martin Luther King Jr.'s campaign for desegregation in America. During this time, Angelou and her husband visited Ghana, Africa, where there was no discrimination on the basis of skin color, and she took a job at the university there. But Angelou did decide to return to America, where she landed a job with civil rights figure Malcolm X. She would also become a part of a group of African American entertainers involved with the civil rights movement, such as Langston Hughes and James Baldwin, who helped to publish her autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. After Malcolm X's assassination, Miss Angelou decided to curb her political activism for the time being.
Martin Luther King Jr., a close friend of Angelou's, was assassinated on her birthday, April 5th, in 1968. Angelou stopped celebrating her birthday for years afterward and sent flowers to King's widow, Coretta Scott King, for more than 30 years until Coretta's death in 2006.